Hello, this is Nick from ReviewOutlaw.com. Today I'm going to be going over my first flight. So I took some flight lessons in the summer of 2015 from Horizon Aviation out of Warwick, Rhode Island. And what we're doing right now is just kind of pre-checking the airplane, looking for any problems in intake. Right before that I was checking the gas. Right now I'm checking the screws, make sure everything's tight. And even though this is my first flight out, my pilot, Matt, who is coming with me, make sure that everything's safe. And as kind of I guess I'm the pilot, he's the co-pilot, or vice versa. But that I'm basically checking because I'm the one flying the plane. You always want to make sure that you're checking the plane yourself. So basically, I did this kind of beginner course. I got it as a Christmas gift. They have a couple different options. One is a captain's package. You can go up for about 3 or 4 flights. There's also just a one-time beginner package, and it takes probably about an hour to do it. So basically, get the plane started up here. Everything happens pretty quick. That way you don't have much time to think about it, and that's the way I prefer it. Get your headphones on. He does all the talking to air traffic control on the first couple flights, and I did the captain's package with about 5 flights, so I did get to talk to air traffic control, which was pretty cool. When you actually are going down the runway, one interesting thing is you're not using the steering wheel, you're actually using the foot pedals. So that was something that's a little weird to get used to, but it's kind of neat just to go down the runway and you're next to these other planes like Southwest, American Airlines, these big planes, and they kind of have to wait for you. So basically we're taking off right now. He kind of goes kind of quick. He's just like, boop, pull this thing out and get your steering wheel straight, pull back a little bit. He's very calm and collective as we're doing it, and just pull it all the way back, keeping control. You can see his hands are a little bit on the controls as well, but for the most part, I'm taking full control. And let's go, make sure I'm good, and kind of points out where to go. So everything happened very quick, but that way it was nice. I didn't have to think about it, and he had the controls in case I messed up, so I was confident in that. Matt was a great instructor. It's important if you want to do flight lessons that you get a good instructor. Flying is, of course, very expensive, so it's something that I do recommend everyone at least give it a one-time try, because it's something you might really, really, really love, or it's something you might hate, but hey, at least you tried it. As you go through the lesson, we took off basically down out of Warwick, and we flew down to Newport, so we could see a lot of the water, which was cool because I've been boating around there. So you could see your house. You can ask them to go somewhere special if you want, but pretty much the practice area is off Newport, so you get a lot of beautiful water views. You kind of do some different area maneuvers, kind of hard curves to the right and left. Nothing too crazy, but enough to have fun with it. You do something called a stall, which is neat, and you really slow the plane down, and it's almost basically stalling it out, and it kind of dips down a little bit, which is wild. As we go through, he kind of points out some of the instruments and what they do. You really don't need to know much besides, the yoke, pull back, pull forward, and then the speed control. Besides that, he's looking at most of those. And if you continued on flight lessons, of course, you'd get into more of the detail, and you have to pass a written exam. What's great about Horizon Aviation is you just kind of have like 30 minutes to just kind of go over the basics of the plane, and boom, you're in the airplane doing what the fun part is, of course, flying. I did just a couple notes. I did get a little bit kind of heat sickness, or motion sickness or something. It was just kind of the heat of the airplane. Maybe it was because of summertime. I do recommend going early morning if you're going to go in the summertime, and just don't wear a lot of clothes to stay cool. Bring a water with you. Right now, as we're actually landing again, and the landing is the scarier part, in my opinion. Taking off happens quick and it's not a big deal. Coming in for that landing, you always feel like, whoa, I'm way off track. He does have the controls, but if it gets a little bit windy too, it can get a little sketchy. But as you can see, we're coming in here to the runway. You always kind of feel like, am I going to hit it short? And you do have to do a little bit at the very end where you're pulling back, and so you can't see the runway so much, and you kind of have to go on just gut instinct that you're going to land down in your training and things like that. But there wasn't much training before this, so I'm just kind of doing my first landing. But all in all, I really highly recommend Horizon Aviation, or even just if you're not in Rhode Island, trying your local flight school and giving them a call and getting that first time lesson. Generally, they always have something cheap. You'd probably expect to pay $100, $200. You can get it as a Christmas gift or something like that, or ask someone for a Christmas gift. It's a great gift to get. So you can kind of see them coming in with that smooth landing. Once you land, it's just a nice rush, nice feeling, because it is definitely a little bit nerve-wracking to come in for that. Because for the most part, at least my instructor gave me the controls the whole time, including landing. You could feel he was nudging it a little bit to the left or right when I was a little bit off, which I'm happy about, but for the most part I had full control. So you basically taxi back to the runway, and you do everything. You put it back, you put it back in its spot where it belongs. And pretty much that's it. So if you have any questions on this video, feel free to comment. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks. I did this kind of beginner course. I got it as a Christmas gift. They have a couple different options. One is a captain's package. You can go up for about 3 or 4 flights. There's also just a one-time beginner package, and it takes probably about an hour to do it. So basically, get the plane started up here. You know, everything happens pretty quick. You know, that way you don't have much time to think about it, and that's the way I prefer it. Get your headphones on. He does all the talking.